Hello, welcome to the morning news. Only hours after the House of Commons voted on approving British involvement in the U.S.-led airstrikes in Syria, Jets began bombing the Arab country. The Royal Air Force had previously conducted reconnaissance flights against or ahead of a crucial vote. The United Kingdom is using its airbase in Cyprus to launch the attacks. Meanwhile, in Germany, Parliament is discussing a new bill which would allow the government to send soldiers to Syria. Although the deployment is not large, Germany could become the first country to officially send soldiers on the ground in the embattled country. As Germany debates, the United States clarified that their special operation forces assigned to Iraq will be relatively small. The Pentagon did not rule out that the special forces would enter into Syrian territory.
Model for operations in Syria is the operation we've already conducted in Syria, which was, forces staged outside of Syria, entered Syria, conducted an operation, exited Syria back to Iraq, as is, I think, well known, and then able to work with the Iraqi authorities to conduct detention and follow-on operations.
The Colombian Senate approved a bill which will call for a referendum to implement a final peace agreement between the government and FARC guerrillas. The bill approved included a clause which makes it mandatory for the government to provide financial backing for both the yes and no campaigns in order to guarantee the fairness of the process. The Brazilian opposition's attempts to oust President Dilma Rousseff took a step forward late on Wednesday. The Speaker of the lower house, Eduardo Cunha, who is also facing justice over corruption charges, has agreed to open impeachment proceedings against her. The petition was filed in September by opposition figures and a founder of Rousseff's Workers' Party deputy. They accuse her of illegally fitting with government accounts to mass budget holes. The impeachment petition now goes to a committee that will decide whether or not to authorize a trial. The Mexican government announced it will launch a national debate process on the legalization of marijuana in January. The decision comes weeks after the Supreme Court opened the door to legalize it. The Mexican government opposes legalization, but says it's open to discussion. Tens of thousands of St. Lucians are expected to finally have access to a reliable and safe supply of drinking water. Our correspondent Alison Kentich has more.
Officials of St. Lucia's lone water company Wasco, along with representatives of the Caribbean Development Bank, have broken ground on two projects they say will provide a reliable and climate-resilient water supply to tens of thousands of nationals. Residents are hoping the John Compton Dam Rehabilitation Project and the Viewfort Water Supply Redevelopment Project will finally end the acute water shortages plaguing the country.
I mean, for now in 2016, people have water once a day or once a month free. I mean, that's like really backward. I think that's backward for our country, that have like cars, the latest cars and all of that. I think like basic things like water, 1 month, that's not good.
Citizens like Charles James say access to water is a fundamental human right and one that every national should enjoy in 2015.
People struggling for water, so if they fix it up, if they 5,000 struggling for water, when they fix it up, about 20,000 will get water, so it will be a good idea for people to be able to wash their clothes to what they want to do.
The island's main dam usually supplies residents with 10 million gallons of water every month. However, following natural disasters, the dam's capacity cuts to half. Officials of the Caribbean Development Bank say the rehabilitation works are essential, as the lack of a reliable water supply could have ramifications for the economic and social infrastructure of St. Lucia. Alison Kentish, Telesur, St. Lucia.
Hundreds of Cuban migrants arrived on Wednesday to the Panamanian port town of Cartitupile as they tried to cross illegally through Central America to reach Mexico and then the U.S. However, Nicaragua has closed its border with Costa Rica, preventing the migrants to continue northwards. Around 4,000 Cubans are stranded in Costa Rica with no solution in sight. The Cuban government says it is the result of the so-called Cuban Adjustment Act and the policy of dry food or wet food, which are promoted by the U.S. authorities to encourage smuggling and illegal immigration from the island nation. And the journey through Honduras is in particular a dangerous one, with rising number of murders. Politics and violence are fueling the deadly massacres that have become a weekly issue in the Central American nation. Our correspondent Gerardo Torres has more.
25 persons were violently murdered in 4 different massacres in less than 3 days. Members of the opposition pointed against the existence of death squads aimed to murder opposition leaders and to generate fear in the population.
There is rational evidence of the participation of death squads, which are internal organisms that exist inside the military forces and the national police that could be coordinated directly from the presidency, or they can be autonomous or take actions to wipe out young citizens. But all of this must be investigated, and this is responsibility of the General Attorney's Office, which is also under the control of the Presidential House. So it is very difficult to know with certainty about the existence of death squads in the country.
The government denies any knowledge of these death squads and assures that they are doing their best efforts to stop violence.
As long as there are authorities in these illicit acts, they won't really be phased. New units are created to fight against this, but the truth is that it's just for the media, not for a real interest to eradicate this.
The Honduran government has assured that violence has considerably reduced, but 95 massacres in less than a year is something different. It is an even higher number than in 2012 and 2013, when Honduras was considered the world's most dangerous country. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
At least 14 people were killed in a California disability center after a shooting Wednesday. 3 men are believed to have been behind the mass shooting. 2 of them were killed by the police while trying to flee on a black SUV. A 3rd suspect was detained when he tried to escape through a residential area. The motive behind the shooting is still unclear. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Turkey will regret having downed a Russian fighter jet in the Syrian-Turkish border. The president spoke to Congress about the next steps in Russia's defense strategy. Meanwhile, somewhere in Syria, the Islamic State terrorist group released a new video showing the gruesome beheading of a Russian citizen. The video featured a Russian jihadist. The man murdered in the video was a Chechen national working as an informal infiltrator in the terrorist group. South African athlete Oscar Pistorius was finally charged with murder after trying to appeal a previous sentence. Pistorius was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp. He had been released on parole and had appealed a manslaughter sentence, but Justice Leach made the sentence ever harsher, convicting him of murder, or for murder, Now the athlete will have to serve 15 years in jail instead of his previous sentence of 5 years under house arrest. More on this on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Thanks for watching and have a good day.